listening to Xposed Living, Be Ageless, the podcast where we drop the masks, flip the script, and talk real life, real love, and real leadership unfiltered. I'm Stacey Vanthuyne, coach, speaker, entrepreneur, and founder of the Xposed Living movement that's redefining what it means to live, lead, and grow at any age. We talk identity, reinvention, belief, and freedom from the bedroom to the boardroom. Yes, we go there. This is not about staying young. This is about waking up. So if you're done with the shoulds and craving more fun, more freedom, more truth, more you, then grab your favorite drink, your bestie, maybe your journal. It's time. Let's get exposed. Welcome back to Xposed Living. Today's conversation may look different on the surface because Xposed Living isn't a show about politics. It is a show, however, about changing beliefs, uncovering truths, and stepping into transformations that change not only our lives, but the communities we're a part of. And that's why I asked my guest, my friend, Fidel Ammar, to join me. Fidel and I worked together years ago at the city of Edmonton, and though we haven't spoken since, watching him step forward as a candidate for Ward 3 caught my attention. Now, there is a name for Ward 3, but I'm going to let Fidel introduce it because it is a challenging one, so we're going to all learn it together. But going back to why I asked him to join me on the show today is not because of the politics, but because of his courage. When I see someone who chooses to stand up, to initiate change, and to put themselves out there in the pursuit of a bigger impact, that's Xposed Living. Fidel's story is one of service, one of community, and now reinvention. After decades in transit operations and investigation, he's choosing to take everything he's learned and fight for a safer, more accountable, more connected Edmonton. This isn't about debating politics. It's about understanding the why behind the man, his vision, and what it means for a city we all work, live, and play in. So let's get exposed and welcome Fidel to Xposed Living. Mm-hmm. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Stacey. Good. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm proud and honored to be on your podcast. Thank you so much. And yes, I love reconnecting. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and I think that's what's so much fun about it. You never know where your past and your journeys will take you.
Isn't that the truth?
Seriously, when I was driving down the street and I'm looking at these signs, I was like, Fidel. I'm like, I know that name. And you know what, listeners, I think that's what's so important is that I had this instinct, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, should I not? Yes, do it now. So I reached out immediately, and Fidel said yes immediately. And here we are connecting and being able to share actually and catch up our own reinvention story. So I love it. So thank you. Well, let's jump into this. So as I was mentioning, Fidel, in the intro, Xposed Living for me is all about reinvention and challenging beliefs. I'm curious, what was a personal belief you had to challenge in yourself to say yes for running for council?
Well, I tell you what, thank you very much, Stacey, for having me on. It's a pleasure talking to you today. I am running for City Council in the next up-and-coming municipal election on October the 20th in Ward Tastawiyiniwak.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, you're very welcome. It is hard to pronounce, but you know what? You get used to it, yeah.
Tastawiyiniwak.
I tell you what, when you're running for municipal election, or as a matter of fact, any election, you're asking a lot of your inner self. Because if it was easy, everybody would do it. But you're also asking a lot from your family and your friends and your loved ones. That's the biggest challenge. I am not the kind of person that is very good at asking people, can you please help me? Can you please volunteer? Would you like to donate? That's where, if I was to list my weaknesses, that would be the top two for sure. So you got to really dig deep and you got to really want it. If you're going to decide to run for city council because, hey, I need the next paycheck, or I'd love to have the benefit package, or I just want to say, hey, look at me, it'll never work. If you do not have a passion, have a calling to help citizens in your ward, citizens of Edmonton, because you're representing the whole city, It'll never work. It really won't. And I'll tell you what, it has been tough, but an enjoyable tough. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody'd be running. We'd have 1,000 candidates, you know. It's very tough. You ask a lot from everybody, but you sure become a good inspiration for others. And a lot of great Edmontonians come out of the woodwork to help you out. Old friends like yourself. I have connected with more people in the last 8, 9 months, old friends. It's amazing how big our City of Edmonton employee family was because people reach out to me all the time. I was putting up some campaign signs the other day. A car drove by, a black Jeep Cherokee. She jumped out. Oh my God, I remember you from Westwood. You were my supervisor. Truth be told, I didn't remember her 100%, but it's just amazing. And I knock on the doors and people tell me, "Oh yeah, I know you." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, did we meet? I apologize. I don't recognize you or remember you." "Oh no, I saw your sign." So once they connect with you, and that's the amazing part. You do affect people's lives, and when you, God willing, you win the seat and you get into city council, you make a decision for a lot of people. If it's not from your heart, and if it's not a decision with a lot of ethics and consciousness, and I mean, um, passion to help out, wow, it's just going to be a tough go. But you know what? I'm so excited to work on behalf of the city, especially my ward.
I love this so much. Like I can't wipe the smile off my face because everything that you're talking about, it's like exposed living, as I was kind of mentioned before, is like for Gen X by Gen X. And I think a lot of us, we get trapped into these identities or this way of being that is, we think like, now I've done this for so long, how do I get out? So if you don't have a why that's greater than the why not to pull out of your comfort zone, you won't do it, right? And that's what you've found
Yeah.
is something that, like, a goal that lights you up enough that it's worth getting uncomfortable. It's worth asking for help. And then so you do.
And if you're right, 100%. And if you're going to look for the why nots, you'll never find the whys. But your heart will open up to the whys, because the why nots in any career, Stacey, as you know, in any job, in any venture you have, there's a lot of why nots. It's so easy to talk yourself out of running. It's so easy. But you got to have that drive for all the whys, like you were saying. There's a lot of positive, but I have such high hopes for my ward. I'm excited. I can't wait. You got a long list of dreams and stuff that you want to accomplish and changes and people you want to help. I mean, that's got to drive you. Yeah.
I love it. Well, let's talk about some of those dreams. So, on your campaign, you talk about making Edmonton safer and more accountable for the everyday person living here. So, what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, you know what? We have, as a city of Edmonton, we we encourage and we strive on safer communities, family-oriented communities. And if we don't have safety, both in our streets, in our playgrounds, in our LRT system, in our schools, then it really won't work. What I believe in safety is we have these tools. I think we just have to incorporate better ways of spending our resources, both financially and with manpower. I can Something that I know very well is
Yeah.
the transit system. And the way we can improve the transit system is empower our peace officers to be allowed to help the people that need help, but also to enforce the bylaws that we already have in place. We've just handcuffed a lot of our officers, the pun there. But, working with EPS, I mean, people are out there, they really want to do good. We just need more of a structural change. We don't need to tell them exactly how to do their business, but we need to show them where those gaps are in their business. And I'm a strong advocate of safer communities. I went to an EPS open house that they gave to all the candidates. It was great information, actually. And I loved the fact they're increasing the SRO program, the school resource officer. I mean,
Mm.
that's amazing. and they're working more with transit to help them get on. They got really good plans for 2020, end of 2025, 2026. It all goes down to funding. I just feel that the funding is there. We have to find it because safety and lowering our taxes has to be one of our number one and number two priorities.
It's interesting. My daughter goes to McNally High School, and they
Mm,
have a
yeah.
peace officer or a police officer there. And, she also takes the transit. And some of the things that she sees on there, and I mean, in full transparency to our listeners, that is where Fidel and I met as I led the customer care team for transit. And that was my first time ever in public. Let's be honest. I'm much better in private. I'll also admit that. It was interesting because there's some certain areas, especially in Ward 3. And so, actually, can you define for people what is Ward 3? And is that the north of Edmonton, right?
Well, Ward,
But
Ward 3 is in the northeast of Edmonton. So it stretches, if you're going north to south, from 127th Avenue to the Anthony Henday. And then if you're going from west, it's 66th Street to 97th Street. But there is also a little bit of Boomeris Lake there. So the Castle Downs Road is the cutoff. So there is a little piece there. How they split up these wards is try to even it out in population. Every ward has anywhere from 90 to 100,000 people, 12 wards. There you go. That's the population of the city. But it's a very unique ward because we have incredible family structure, lots and lots of schools. We have lots of immigrant families, new Canadians, new families to Canada and to Alberta. And I mean, it's exciting where the ward can go. It got so much multiculturalism in the ward, and it's a beautiful place to be. I know you're going to probably get to it later why I'm running, but yeah, it's
share.
very exciting and an award with tons of potential. Why did I decide to run? There's something to be said about collecting work experience, but there's also life experience. At the age of 56, I think I have collected a lot of life experience, both in management, both in business, both in talking and communicating and connecting with people. But uh, also I've lived in this ward for 52 plus years. I mean, it's amazing. I've spent all my time in this ward, uh, but in various neighborhoods, and I went to all the schools in the ward. I haven't seen much of a positive change in the last 8 to 9 years, but what I have seen and heard, my property taxes continue to go up and up and up. And I have nothing against, for example, bike riders, but there's a lot of senseless bike lanes going up in our area. There's some projects that really, it's more of a want than a need for people. I think we need to get back to the core basics and give the people what they need. Lower taxes, safer community, more transit, and just to feel that the families have control of our ward, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve.
I really like that, and for those that are listening and they're not familiar with Edmonton, thank you for continuing to listen, but I don't think it's an anomaly, Edmonton to other cities, the things that you're talking about and the people that we want running and supporting us. But if you haven't been to Edmonton, I smile when Fidel says about the bike lanes because y'all know that I do biking. But like we get so much freaking snow here that like it is crazy to see. So when you mention the bike lanes, it just makes me laugh
Like,
because I'm
I
like,
believe me, Stacy, I own a bike too. I love to ride
yeah,
my bike, but I'll tell you what, I can pick other places than where those bike lanes are. We have beautiful river valley. We have
yes,
beautiful parks in our ward too. We have a lot of beautiful areas and paths that are already designed for bike riding. Now we're tearing up neighborhoods to put in bike lanes, and it would be great if this was all for free,
right.
but
But
hundreds of
prioritization,
millions
like you
of
said.
hard-earned tax dollars are being spent. Now that becomes more of a want than a need. We need good roads. We need safer sidewalks. We need better lanes, better paths, absolutely. Better multi-use trails, no problem, but not there. Instead, we've made it hard for operators, for transit operators, for buses, for big vehicles. And we haven't even got into the snow part. We are the coldest, most snowiest northern large city in North America. And here we are, like we're reaching 1.2 million people and continue to grow. And we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars of money we don't have on bike lanes. I mean, it's crazy. This is a traffic city. This is a city where, according to media outlets, there is 2.5 cars per Edmonton per household in Edmonton, if not more in the north side. I mean, it's crazy because a lot of us rely on our vehicles. We just don't have the subway network that they have in Toronto, Montreal, or New York, or people, you got to drive in this city. It's just life.
Well, and like you said, and if the transit isn't safe, people are opting for that over that. Like I said, that's where my daughter, she can take the transit, but let's be honest with her. When she's seeing the overdoses and the people are coming up to her, like she's not going to go on it. It's not safe for her. So
Yeah,
I,
absolutely. When I was at ETS, I was in management and I had some say about security and stuff like that. My daughters at the time were going to university and they would come to me and they say, Dad, we need a car. We're not taking the train. I'd be like, why? It's cheaper. It gets you right there. It stops 100 meters from your class. What's the big deal? Said, Dad, safety on the LRT and on transit. That's a figment of everybody's imagination. It doesn't exist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, you go on, ride it. I don't know much people that want their daughters and their wives to be on the train later hours of the evening or coming back from work late or from classes. Let's just be honest. There are way too much activities going on there that do not please people and they make it very unsafe. Until we get that, I don't know how we're going to, improve the transit system. It has become unsafe.
it is
And
unsafe.
it's not all doom and gloom. It's still a great system, but we can still correct this ship.
Yeah, there's just opportunity, right? Well, let's move into revitalization because that's another big theme for you. And I'm curious to you, and I think, again, this is for any city. What does a thriving Edmonton neighborhood mean to you, but like beyond the policies and the plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Like a thriving neighborhood to me is one that has uh, beautiful family homes that people can afford, beautiful parks, a school every so often, an area that people feel comfortable and safe in. Uh, now we've turned it into streets with, traffic calming measures, concrete barriers in the middle of roadways, movable fences and signs that are getting knocked over. Uh, it's a snow removal nightmare in our neighborhoods. I want our neighborhoods to be somewhere where people, walk the dog, walk with their kids, go enjoy the park in the summertime, not have to worry about people living in the bush or by the playgrounds. And we have a lot of that in the north side. It's unfortunate. You can't pin this on the police because they try their best to police it. I just feel that we don't we don't deal with our issues maybe as well as Sherwood Park or St. Albert. It seems like they have less. Granted, I know it's a smaller city, but they empower their people to do their jobs correctly. And my vision for a decent family neighborhood is one that provides safety, one that provides affordability to the people. It doesn't have to be a 15-minute city where we can cross the street and go get groceries, cross the street and do this and do that. No, this city is going to be very tough to be all 15 minutes away unless you're in a car.
Yeah.
And, I just feel some of our neighborhood renewals are not being communicated. Doesn't mean they're bad, then doesn't mean they're all bad, but they're not being communicated by people. We've visited in our ward, right on the outskirts of our ward is Dunluce, but Castle Downs as well, going through a huge neighborhood renewal, places in Azurna, 167th Avenue. I just don't think proper engagement with the citizens has been made because I've knocked on over 12,000 doors, and what we've been hearing at the door are people feel frustrated, people feel not communicated with properly, they feel a lack of engagement, and they feel the city of Edmonton isn't listening to them. And that's one of my biggest concerns at the door. And of course, property taxes, the keywords, property tax and potholes, and I don't want any bike lanes, I don't want them by my area. Those are the common things at the door. But hey, we're there to listen because God willing, we'll be elected. And you know what? I serve the people. They're not my views. I serve the people what they want.
I love it. Hey, I have a question. Let's go just a little more personal. When you mentioned earlier that, one of the things that was the hardest was asking for help in your family. So I'm curious, what was your family's reaction when you told them that you're running for council?
Well, believe it or not, I always had it in me. I like to communicate and talk to people. I love to engage people. I don't shy away from any conversation, never was in any of my careers. I enjoy people. My family is the people that encouraged me.
Uh,
They said, "Hey, you know what? You know a lot about policy. You know this. You like to stay engaged. You like to talk about people. You follow politics all the time. Why don't you run?" I'm like, I don't know. I've thought about it, but in my younger years, no, you know this, you know that, and I'm like, well, you never know. And then the next thing you know, they're pushing you to run, and behind every strong man is a strong woman and a whole bunch of strong family members, and they're like, you can do it, and we'll be there for you. You ask a lot of your family, but you know what though? They've been support is an understatement. They've been amazing. So, yeah, and
what's
that's
been the biggest surprise to you during this journey?
I'm not a career politician. I haven't ran in any election before. I feel that people are in some way they're just fed up, and sometimes people give up when they're fed up. They're like, you know what, forget, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to engage. I tell them at the door, hey, I hear you, I feel you, but it starts with one person. You got to get out and vote. Why? What's the point? No, it's your right. You got to get out and vote. Voice your opinion. Then you can talk about it. Then you can engage people about it. Communicate to others. You have the right to tell people, hey, I voted for you. You're not doing what you said you were going to do. Stuff like that. You can't give up on this city. And if you love it as much as I do, there's nothing to give up on because the future is bright. It's beautiful. If we have a complete restructure of our council, and I think we will, I really do. As a citizen, I'm talking here. I know we're going to have a different kind of council and maybe different kind of thinking, more along the lines of, what's better for Edmonton.
Hey, change is good. Change is good. I'm going to ask you one more question before I always end every episode, just so you know, with these 5 ageless questions. So you're going to have to stay tuned for that in a second. But I'm curious because one of the things I've been really focused on is how, whether it's politics, often pushes leaders to focus on control, or leaders start to control when they come from fear almost. So, and in Xposed Living, we talk about the power of influence and connection. And I think a lot of what you've said shows your ability to connect. I also think that's why people like myself or the person who stopped you on the street wants to reach out, because you do leave people feeling better about themselves. But I have a question of, how do you intend to lead with influence and not control in the city hall?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can attract more bees with honey. I mean, you gotta have a positive approach toward things. If your heart is gold and you really do it with good intentions, you will attract the kind of people that will help you get there. How do I plan? That's with City Hall. You have to work with, I spent a whole lifetime working with people that some are different from all walks of life, different kind of people, different kind of attitudes. Some people I connected with unbelievable, and some people I didn't. But the ones that I didn't, I still tried my best, gave it my best effort to connect with those people. And I mean, I intend to, that's at City Hall, but with the communities, I think we need to go back to the quarterly meetings with all these communities. If you split the ward up, the 20 neighborhood pluses, if all you need is a day of your time once a month, if not twice a month, to connect with these communities, because they feel unheard. They feel that, you know what, we're not being listened to. People aren't hearing us out. Communication with people is going to be critical. So for the people that support me and vote for me, like I love it. I will work my darndest and hardest to get the ward the representation that it needs. And for the people that didn't vote for me, or when we're successful, I will connect with those people too, because everybody has a voice at the table. But I want to be that voice of calm, of connecting, of support. We got to support our neighborhoods and help where help is needed, and
Yeah,
that's my goal, and I hope to connect.
I love it. I have no doubt you are and will continue to. So, are you ready for some five fun and relatable questions?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
Throw.
throw it. Give it to me. He says, give it to me. This is the type of man we want representing us. One that just says yes and we'll figure it out. Okay, Fidel, what's one book or podcast that shifted how you see leadership or life?
Ah, hmm. That's a great question. I've been on a few really, really engaging podcasts. I love the podcasts that talk about the improvement, the positivity that's available. Oh my God, books. I have, I'm trying to think of a good book that I read about athletes, successful athletes that overcome challenges. Those are my favorite books. My favorite kind of books are books that talk about more of a documentary-ish kind of book
Yeah, yeah.
that talk about the successes people had, not at the beginning of their lives, but at the end of their lives or careers. Those are my favorite. Inspirational books are the best.
They really
Yeah,
goes back to the beginning of what you were saying. Like if it was easy, everybody would do it. But you're like connecting with those
yeah,
people that like go beyond what they have. And I mean, I know you as well. You've gone through a personal transformation yourself in your health and everything else, right? And so, what
yeah.
was one of those key beliefs that you had to do to go through that transformation with your health?
Well, I tell you what, you have to believe in yourself and you have to look at yourself through the eyes of others. People don't just look at you to judge you. People look at you because they want you to be around. They want you to be there for them. They want you to be the support that they need as well. And nobody on this earth is perfect. But I'll tell you what, we try our best to help the people that we want to help, to support the loved ones that are in our lives, and to be there for others. It's human and Canadian nature.
Yes.
We bond together and we help out together. And I've gone through a transformation in my life. I've gone through a lot of weight loss. I've gone through trying to improve my life. And there's always work to be done. But I'll tell you what, you don't have a good support network behind you. It just makes it tougher and tougher. But at the same time, you have to be that support for somebody else. You have to pay it forward as well.
Yeah,
And
I hear that.
that's what I hope and know I will accomplish.
So good. Now tell me, what's a daily habit or a ritual that keeps you grounded? Do you have a daily habit or a habit that you wouldn't do or you would ensure that you always do? Maybe a question that you ask yourself?
Uh, I got a little bit OCD. I love to keep clean. I love to make my bed. I love to keep everything around me clean. Somebody might show up one of these months, you know.
I
So I
love
love
that.
to do that. I love tidiness. It's weird, but in my vehicle, I don't like anything laying around in the garage, in the kitchen. It's really weird. It's
Well, they say nature's first law is order, right? And that our outside
yeah.
world is a reflection of how we feel on the inside. And if we have chaos on the outside, then that means the mind is in chaos. I mean, if you have structured outside, typically
Yeah,
breeds
yeah.
structure from within, which makes
I
you,
love
again,
I love a checklist and just run with it. I
let's
want to do
go.
this. I want to do that. I got to finish it or else I won't sleep. I got to finish this checklist.
Is there something that you've always wanted to try but haven't yet?
Yeah,
What's that?
skydiving.
Okay. So we know when the celebration happens after October 20th and we're voting in office before, we're going to
Whoa,
have a quick
whoa.
trip.
No promises given. No promises given. All my life, I've been a heavier individual and I'm still heavy. Everybody needs
Oh,
to
you're
work on that.
like, let's say,
But I'll tell
how
you
much
what,
have you lost?
you dropped me from a parachute. I'm like an atomic bomb. I don't
No.
want to make that big of a hole in the ground. So that's why I'm not going to jump up from a plane on October 21st. But
No, you're like, shit, I just made it in there. I got to represent first. So maybe that'll be the end of the term.
I don't want to go splat.
Oh, no, no. You've released how much weight?
About 140 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, like, let's give that some credit. This is where I said the transformation. Man can do that. I think I get that is like accepting complete responsibility as well, knowing that you can't do these things alone. I think that that's one thing that you're really going to bring
Yeah.
towards the city too, is driving some
You,
accountability.
yeah, you can't do any of that alone. You need support. You need people to be there for you. But at the same time, the good Lord works in mysterious ways. You have to pay that forward. You have to be there for somebody when they need it. You have to be there like you were supported. You're going to be a support. And I hope to live up to everything that people want me to be, and that's what I strive for. That's what keeps me going every day.
I love it. I have two last ones. My one is my final
Yeah,
five questions, which
yeah.
is finish this sentence for me. Living exposed means,
Living exposed means living for the dreams that you set for yourself. You have to have goals and dreams, and sometimes that causes exposure. You need to get out of your comfort zone. This wasn't easy for me. You need to get out of that comfort zone. You need to be that person that, will try stuff. Not jump from roof to roof, but will try something out of the ordinary, and especially if it helps supporting others. Try something you've never done before, but it's a good thing, you know. That's what I believe. Yeah.
awesome. Fidel, if people want more of you in your life or want to learn more about you and getting involved in the missions that you're after, how do they reach out to you? How do they get in contact with you?
Stacey, this would have been a different conversation about a year and a half ago. But since then, I've been introduced to social media because you're running in the public eye. I have my Instagram page, Fidel Ammar. I have Facebook. I have LinkedIn, that you are very active on LinkedIn. I try to be, but I love LinkedIn. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It's a
Yeah.
professional Facebook, I call it.
Uh,
I have TikTok.
look at you dropping the
Fucking
reels. We're
ego.
going to bring
Yeah.
it out like us. I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah, I have Instagram, all of that kind of stuff. Granted, truth be told, my fiance helps me with a lot of that stuff because I'm not
Okay.
that good at it.
That's okay.
But I tell you what, I had a cousin tell me the other day, he goes, "Look at you." He's kind of jealous because he's my age. "Look at you. You had nothing a year ago. What's going on here?" Now everywhere I look, Fidel Ammar, Fidel Ammar. I'm like, "Are you watching my signs?" He goes, "No, you keep on posting every day." I said, "Oh, I don't know. What did I
Hey,
post today?"
we got to know, right? I know. And then it gets moved. That's we were like, Cece, you do it all the time. Like, well, I kind of just get into it, right? Like, but this is the thing is that even those types of beliefs that we've had in the past, because I used to have a belief that, and I think some people were like, oh, she wants all the time. No, I've got a mission. I've got a, a yeah, I have a mission to do. And if you want, join me on it. But if we're not consistently hearing it, then we don't take action because it's not enough, right? We've got to hear it, the repetition
Yeah.
to move forward. So I think that's why it's so important that you're out there and sharing your message all the time.
Yeah. I don't I don't want people to follow me or to and look at where I walk every day or where I do. No, I want people to follow me for the information sharing, just like I follow people for their information. I read your LinkedIn to see what you're up to, what I can learn from it, how it changes my daily experience. And that's the important thing. That's what social media is about. Yes, the younger people take it to a different level, but you know what though? It's really cool to have those aha moments like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know what a chain of information. This is crazy, but it can
It,
swallow you up a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think there's some sort, but it also goes back to, I think another thing that you're so good at is what we focus on will expand. If we want to look for the crappy stuff of it, we'll find it. But if we're ready to like look more for the whys than the why nots, then we'll find that too. And so I'm just grateful for you for coming on and sharing today. I'll make sure that every way to get a hold of you and to ask you questions, even about your platform, is on our show notes. And any final closing thoughts?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I I hope and pray that people will get out on October the 20th. Well, we have early voting from October the 7th to 11th, but the election date, the last day is October 20th. I'm hoping people get out there and look for change, get involved in change, whatever you need, get out there and vote, you know. And I would absolutely love to come on your podcast after the election.
Yeah, we
And,
are.
that would be awesome. And thank you so much. I've had an amazing time. And yeah, it's super, super awesome to reconnect.
I
Okay.
agree. Well,
So remember, in Ward Tastawiyiniwak, vote for Fidel
Tastawiyiniwak,
Ammar.
watch, watch,
Tastawiyiniwak.
listen, Fidel Ammar, you've got this. So I just again want to thank you for stepping up, for forward in a way that isn't easy, but is so needed. This conversation reminded me that reinvention isn't only personal; it can be civic. It can be the way we choose to lead, the way we choose to serve, the way we choose to stand up for the places that we call home. So to my listeners, especially my Edmontonians, October 20th isn't just a date on a calendar. And as Fidel said, if you can't make it out on the 20th, do so before. It's an opportunity. If you live in Ward 3, Tastawiyiniwak, is that correct?
Correct.
Tastawiyiniwak?
Very good. Very good.
Yes, your
Very
voice
good.
matters.
Better than my
True.
first time.
Hey, honestly, if you live in any ward, Edmonton, if we want to, in wherever city you are, if you want to be a part of the change, be part of the change. And that means getting up, getting involved, pushing outside of our comfort zones, get informed, and most importantly, get exposed to the kind of conversations that challenge what's possible for your city and our city, because midlife isn't where things slow down. It's where we rise as individuals, as leaders, and as communities. Thank you again for joining us on Xposed Living. That's it for today's episode of Xposed Living, Be Ageless. But this is just the beginning. If this episode made you feel something, share it. Tag me. Send it to a friend. Let's start the conversation we can be having all along. No shame, no guilt. Unfiltered, raw, real, exposed. And if you're ready to go deeper, join us inside the Xposed Living Facebook community, where we take this work off the podcast and into real life. Know this, your change starts when your excuses die. Because this life, this one wild, ageless, unforgettable life is waiting on you. This is your time. This is your truth. This is Xposed Living.